here recording. Guys, I know you thought we weren't coming back. I know you thought it was a one-shot. No, was not a one-shot manga. This is the Page Turner podcast. Right, we need the horns, But yes, guys, we are back and we are continuing with our journey talking about Kaiju number 8, which right, where are we at right now? We are on chapters 6 through 10. We're going to try to do all of our discussions within 5 chapter increments. I keep wanting to say issues like we're talking about comics.
Yeah.
We're reading manga. The page turners right now. Who knows what other pages will turn in the future. But right now we're on mangas and we are talking about Kaiju number 8. So I am Baron J67.
And I am Walt Lando.
Hey, he gave the second part. Nobody. Usually it's just Walt. Of the Dual Shock and Sense podcast, and he's also an awesome writer and contributor over at LV1 Gaming, which is where you are now, and I do a lot of stuff here. You see and hear my voice all the time, but if you don't, I'm the communications director and a podcast and all that other stuff and write. And
Nominal guy.
I'm all right. But no, so let's jump right into it. Our first episode, we talked a lot about who we are and how we got into reading and manga. We're not going to do that every episode. So we're going to jump right into it. Chapter 6 through 10, Kaiju number 8. So, Walt, we ended off chapter 5 on a pretty, it was a cliffhanger moment for sure.
It felt like they just, and not such a cliffhanger, they just cut in the middle of what should have been a full page, and they just said, nope, you gotta wait until next week. Nope.
Next week
was getting headbutted or just punched by a kaiju.
Yeah, that was weird, right? Because in that panel, I believe it was a headbutt, but I know it looked like, in my head, I'm like, why didn't he just bite him? But I guess, I don't know if these were like trained Honju, because they were Honju. It wasn't the Honju that hit him, was it?
The Honju are the, I think the lesser one. It was a Honju or a Joju?
Yeah.
One of the Honju.
And so the next chapter, so chapter 6, where we are now, just a quick recap. Kafka and a couple of other main character mainstays, Ichikawa, Kikoru, and is it Kikoru or Kikoru? It's Kikoru, huh?
Kikoru.
They are training. They are taking part in the officers test to be part of the JDF, the Japanese Defense Force. And wow, look, I'm on the ball. And that's where we're right. That's where we were left off. And then everything was going according to plan, except of course Kafka was being terrible and not ranking anything in his with his suit and with his kaiju suit. And he was out there just kind of flopping around. But at that point, and then it ended off with him getting attacked.
It did. I like how My Hero did this as well, where the danger is contained. It's in a little area. You know, it reminded me of when Deku was fighting the robots, and he was failing horribly. But then, you know, he flicked and broke his entire arm and legs. But in this case, Kafka is not doing anything, because if he does, people will notice that he is a kaiju, and you don't want that, because there's rumors that the suits and the weapons are made out of kaiju material and tissue, and so if they get him, he might be experimented on. He gets punched super hard. He's still alive, but I think he gets hurt inside internally a little bit. And to the rescue comes Kikoru, which she's a prodigy.
Yeah, she's the chosen one at this point. She's the Neji or the Sasuke. Like that's it, in turn. Like if you, for those who only know the big names, that is who Kikoru would be like her persona. Like
Should
if
be
I
like a
had
Vegeta. Like she has
she
that
becomes
attitude.
she becomes a Vegeta. I would say the reason I say Sasuke at this point is because she's showing off, and there's clearly this weird competition for no reason, because there's no reason for her to compete because she's in like just leagues above everyone, but she's showing and making sure you see how much better she is at everything. And then later on within these 5 chapters, they discuss why, but or it's disclosed why. But at this point, I would definitely call her a Sasuke.
Okay. I mean, yeah, this is Sasuke Naruto era, not Shippuden. This is
Yeah.
there's a lot of repressed trauma. You can see it. She's trying to compensate for something. She's trying to strive for something. There's something that she's trying to prove.
Yeah.
And later they elaborate on it. I like that when Kafka gets saved, she still teases him.
Yep.
She's still she has that playful. She's still a kid. She's still like a teenager or something, or like a young adult. They hinted at she's obviously younger than Kafka. I think everyone there is younger than Kafka.
Yeah, I think he is the oldest person, and then he's even older than Ashiro.
I think so.
Yeah, like by like 3 or 4 years. Yeah, so he's like the oldest person on the grounds outside of like maybe scientists.
Yeah.
He's the oldest named character at this point.
Exactly. Exactly. No, legit.
Yeah.
Or even, I mean, since we're covering all 5 of them, they hint at the general or commander. He's older, but obviously he's a like top dog.
Yeah.
Which he then is the Kikoru's father, but we'll get to that. I like that when Kafka gets, get thrown around, he knows Mina is watching, so he can't afford to just stay here on the ground.
Because he almost gets pulled out. So Hoshina gets on the mic and calls him like, "Hey, if you continue to take any damage, we're gonna hit the bubble." And there was a rule in place that if they had to activate your shield, your savior shield, you fail out.
Disqualified.
Yeah, you're disqualified. And so they let him know that they were getting ready to do it, and then that's when he has his believe it moment. He's like, I'm okay.
Yeah, but he's messed up. He's
bad.
Because again, we established in the last episode that the suits, they unleash of power from the people. He has 0.
Yep.
There's nothing protecting him. And another thing they establish is that the guns that they have, the bullets is as strong as your unleashed power.
Yep.
So he can't use guns. If he does, they're gonna be pellets hitting little sandbags.
Right.
So what I like how he, despite his age and getting hurt and everything, he shows that classic shonen determination. Because I think what I appreciate most of Kaiju, out of most shonen, is that the protagonist is old.
Yeah,
that
was a huge thing for me. Like that, it was. I look forward to finding and reading more within this space of older protagonists, especially in the shonen setting. Like I think that's dope. I mean, we normally do get it. What is it? But they get sent back and get reincarnated with their same mindset. But then it makes like a weird situation down the show line. But that's a whole nother thing. That's a thing you often see, especially as of late. But with this, he's 33. Like this is the cutoff. This is it. Like if he does not succeed here, he's done. And they even make note of that. Like right before he gets up and does his grandstand, like I'm okay. He kind of hints, like I think it was him talking in his head, like I know this is a silly dream, but if I don't do this now, that's it.
Now or never.
Yeah, it's now or never.
Because he also established, it's all about fighting for the dream. Because he acknowledges he has a good job, he cleans, he has his apartment, a company car. He's good. Like he's set. Like he's financially, he's okay.
Yeah,
like, he's okay. But he's not satisfied. There's no growth. He had a promise. He has to fulfill, and I want him to fulfill that promise.
Believe it.
I believe it. If Naruto made it,
Right?
Make it. You know, Naruto was destined to fail. Man was cursed, outcast, orphan.
Yeah.
Man was he lived alone. He was like
The dude was eating
15
ramen and drinking spoiled milk. Like,
and
it
going
was
alone
horrible.
to home, training every day, failing. Dude, like
Yeah. It was horrible.
like
And-
he's actually like putting in the work.
And like what? Okay, so let the folks know how he ended up like actually getting back into the test. Like,
For Kafka.
yeah,
So for Kafka, he got up, but then our boy Ichikawa, he's
Yup.
right there. He's being a bro. He's being the hype man. Hey, you can't give up. Oh, I knew you wouldn't give up. He's like, and then Kafka's like, yeah, let me get on your shoulders.
yeah,
And let me, because I cannot move. I am horrible with my legs. Let me piggyback and get on, literally like when you have to bend down and then put your both, not piggyback, like arms around
No,
here and legs
like-
around your waist. And
like
full on.
Little
at a
Rascals.
concert. Yeah, Little
Yeah.
Rascals trying to see the stage from the concert at Neverland. Like, and it works because
Yeah.
again, Ichikawa has good potential, so he's able to sustain the weight. What he cannot sustain is the shame. He's very embarrassed.
yeah. And keep going. I'm sorry.
No, this man is running with a middle-aged man on his
back.
shoulders.
Yeah, crotch on his neck, everything. Like, it's just full blown sprinting. And then during a test, like, just the scenario, right? Like, they pointed out that Hoshina, he actually is laughing. Like, he loved it. He was like, this is the craziest thing ever.
He said that he should be at the comedy department. Like this
Yep.
man, he should make it, but he not as a fighter, just as comedic relief. He's very
Yeah, like-
self-aware.
Yeah, and I like that they point that out. And I like that they're having fun with it. And it's not too serious. Like,
It doesn't take away from the story.
yeah, and it feels like a natural, like, it doesn't feel forced. It doesn't feel like a hard,
Over the
like,
top.
yeah, let's pause here and make this funny and then go back to serious. Like, no, it flows and it makes sense and it fits with the personalities, especially with the interactions between all the characters. The way Kikoru responds to them, the way everybody else looks at him, the way Hoshina responds, and then the way that the operator, the tech, I forgot her name, that she's talking to Hoshina about what's going on, and he's just sitting there laughing and she's all serious. I love the way the interplay between them all.
They all
It's
balances
super
it
dope.
well of each other.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And I like that they're able to do it because they established Kafka to be like this silly dude that's like he's a clown. Like he's
Yeah.
a clown. Not in the derogatory way, but he's
Yeah.
generally like he's like a class clown.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Or cracking jokes, or begging, like jokingly.
Yeah.
Which he does later on. So after they do settle, okay, so he's gonna keep going. He's on the shoulders, and he's like, we gotta cover Kikoru. We gotta cover her. She's running. She's gonna get hurt. She outruns them.
Yep. Everybody. The whole class.
Everyone. The
Yeah.
entire people being tested. She is bolting. Like they cannot catch up, and she is killing everything on their way. Everything. Blasting they have some cool panels of her transitioning from the back of the car to the top of the car to the other side and
Yeah,
blowing.
her leaping over. Oh, that was sick. And
She leaps over and she blows from the inside of the kaiju. She
that was
blisters up.
sick. That was so sick.
When they animate that, bro.
Oh yeah. We'll talk about that on another episode, but about my frustration with the animation now, but it's I wonder, like, wait, what else happened?
After he
Because they were going to
tried
fail
catching
because
up,
there was no more kills, right? There was only one more thing to kill.
they thought they were gonna fail because they were not contributing to killing the kaiju, which similar to My Hero, it wasn't about killing. It's also about the teamwork and the mental gymnastics. Because
Yep.
Kafka is also like, oh, don't shoot here, shoot here. or go here, or because he cleans these things for a living. He
Yep.
knows where the weak parts are. He knows how the anatomy works. He just can't relay that because Kikoru's all the way miles away already.
And this is something that's real important, that him and his job leading up to this point, and we talked about this in the first episode, that this is important. It wasn't just backstory. It actually comes into play in how he does anything. But keep going, my bad, man.
No, you're good. And as soon as she disappears from the site, they're just we cannot keep up. She wipes everyone. She kills, I think, every kaiju there.
Yep.
Until she comes face to face with a humanoid, which again, if there's something Dark Souls has taught me, if there's a humanoid, a small enemy, a small boss of your size, that's gonna be a bad day.
Yep.
Always.
Oh yeah. Especially if the more human, the worse. Like,
oh yeah.
The moveset.
Radagon. Freaking even Godric to a point, because although he was grafted like that,
and these are Elden Ring characters
bosses,
for those who don't know. Yeah, but
in case you don't know about Elden Ring,
yeah, just in case, potential game of the year for 2022. But
potential, very a lot of, we'll see.
Yeah,
but in this case, this thing actually proves to be a problem, because as soon as she catches up to him, and she's just thinking, she's just analyzing the situation. He doesn't hesitate. He just points at her, and in classic anime fashion, there's no bullet. It's just force.
Yep.
And she gets blasted on the chest.
Yep.
And she's
and
out.
And that was the end of chapter 6, right? It looks like she dies.
It looks like she gets fatally wounded for sure.
Yeah, like she has the full on, like, the way they drew her, like, clearly I'm unconscious but I'm still standing eyes, and then she's
Soul's
like
leaving the body.
Yeah, they do the whole thing. And that was the last panel for chapter 6. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, holy crap. Like, they really,
like, if she's the strongest, what's gonna,
Yep.
And then you see, okay, somehow this man has to transform without being caught. Well, good thing this kaiju, I think he jams and he does something where they cannot detect all the suits, and there's like some malfunctioning.
Yep.
And the other dead kaiju start to regenerate and like full on regenerate, like become alive, not in pieces and like the whole thing.
No,
just
they
comes
come back
alive.
And they look stronger too. Yeah, I was about to say they looked stronger. Like
one of them was for sure.
Yeah. What did it crank up? Oh, they did, because they said the fortitude, which is the way they rank the strength of the kaiju. Excuse me. They said he went up to a 6.4.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
and then Hoshina was like, "It's going to take a whole company to take that
down." To wipe
it.
And he recognizes this is something that they have to get involved. Like, it doesn't, like the shield, like that's doesn't matter. Like, this time Hoshina and Ashiro have to deploy, but before they get to that, someone's faster. And and as Kikoru is getting, not just once, he kept shooting at her, and hits the legs, the chest, the different parts.
Beat up.
Yeah, she was getting, and then he revived the big kaiju that she defeated. And that thing grew horns. It started doing a tail beast attack. It started like doing this big massive energy.
Oh yeah, it was about to launch it out of his chest. Like, yeah.
Like conducting energy.
Uh-huh.
But in all of that, like during all of that, she's like accepting her fate, and she's like,
the Naruto music plays.
Sad flute.
Yeah, sad flute.
It's crazy because
don't they do a flashback at this point too?
They do. And
yeah.
And it works because the whole thing with her, it's like she has a trauma, but her dad doesn't come off as a bad dude. It reminds me of Shang-Chi and how
just determined.
determined because of a loss he had, and you know he expects her to be perfect for the sake of the country and the sake of her mother that got killed by kaiju. And he's like she was top of her class, and all the kids were getting picked up by their parents, and she got picked up by her butler. Yeah, they were like, "Oh, I'm gonna get you some food, or that purse you wanted," and she's like, "Yeah, you know, this is my life.
That's cool."
Yeah, and then the dad is like, "Oh no, yeah, that's expected.
Yeah,
yeah,
like
what,
top
you
of the
want to
class.
be rewarded?
Yeah, like next. But see, we're not doing it justice because he didn't say it in a way like he was angry at her, but it was more like just drilling in the point, like you need to do this for not only your sake but the sake of everyone we got to care for, and doesn't make it any better.
No,
but
she's a child.
Yeah, she's a child. Like you've completely broke, and it made you look at her different. And this is when she became Vegeta. Like this is when I started thinking Vegeta, and now still kind of Sasuke. You're carrying the load of like your people, and you're feeling like the last in the family. But that also fits the Vegeta role. Like clearly there's competition, but you're still the best. But there's competition for some reason. Like I'm the king of all Saiyans, but I'm competing with this no name who hit his head on a rock. Like. And father made a wish.
That's a goofball right there. Good old Saiyan, still with the monkey tail and everything. Like, my man hasn't even like ascended to.
Hasn't even turned into an 8. Like
yeah,
like bro.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
No, and I
off
like that.
track, but my bad.
No. Hey, anything happens with Paige Turner. With her coping. Like I like the way that she copes. She makes it a competition, but she's playful. Like she doesn't hate Kafka. She's like oh Baka, you know, stupid. I'm gonna tease him more. Oh,
yep.
He's gonna catch it now. He's gonna hear it from me. Like she's not being resentful or anything. If anything, she's like, oh, I have to be better. I have to not be outplayed. And that's how the father said it. The father said, you know, just because you got first place, that should be the norm for you, because you're expected. There's expectations on her. The worst thing about the dad is that he's neglectful. Like he's very like do this, that's it. Like I don't want anything else. Like he doesn't say flat out like you're worthless. She's not. She's the future of the nation.
Yeah. She was but
she died.
And she's dead. No, she
dies, and Kafka kills her. No,
right. Kafka eats her to get her powers, and we're totally lying. That is not what happens. If I was writing it, that's what would happen. Like he would drain her. Like he would look in her eye and be like, "Thank you," and then like absorb her, and then full on like I would. Oh, bro, it'd be vicious.
Such an edgelord.
Evil. No, but no. So we don't see him initially kill the Honju or whatever was attacking him.
No,
you see him get in her face, like
because this chapter focuses on her getting humbled and him showing up at the end and telling her like, don't worry, like leave this to me, and transforms, and she sees it, and that's the end of the chapter. And then it picks up where he was getting ready to get there. Like the other chapter, it's like half of it is his point of view until that point.
They do a quick flashback, like
and they get right to the point.
Yeah,
he goes straight to her, and her dad is obsessed with perfection. He arrives. Kafka arrives. As he arrives, the kaiju is charging, and he's like, I got you, bro. Like nothing.
Key blast block.
He's turning around. He's like,
yeah, that's literally what happens. He straight up does a DBZ block, and
it's there's some weight, because it's like this is the first time you see Kafka like dealing with something that's hurting someone that is in a position of great prowess.
Yes.
and he's being the upper one. This is the first time he's like upping someone. He's being better power wise than someone.
Because the first time he transformed, it was purely to save the little girl, right? And then this, like you said, this time it's him letting the world know,
showing off.
Yeah, exactly.
At that point, the scientists and Hoshina are like, wait a minute, something malfunctioned. Now there's a new reading. We said how the kaiju revival were like 0.4?
Yep.
Well, now this boy transformed is a 9.8.
Yep.
Almost a full 100.
And what did Hoshina say? What did that if this is correct? Because it was so ridiculous that scale that they thought it, like you said, they thought everything was broke. That Hoshina was like, well, if this reading is right, this is the strongest kaiju in existence. And what did they call it? There you go, a daikaiju.
A daikaiju. That's the one I always remember because it is the type of kaiju that is given a name.
Yep.
And daikaiju, they're hoping it's not that. They're hoping it's not functioning.
Aren't they? I mean, of course, I think this is getting ahead, so no, I'll pass on it. But what was so dope, right? Because this is one of the scenes, and I know I'll save it towards the end, but my favorite, this is one of my favorite scenes, is him after blocking it and then punching and meeting fist to fist with the Honju, or with the kaiju in his kaiju form. And then even him powering up when they showed him power. Was so dope.
With some weight to it. Like, I can see the cell shading, like the animation.
Yeah.
Like, I can see, because he opens his elbow and there's like a booster from it, and he charges it up, and his legs get like little limbs from the side, and they
digs into the ground, like anchors him in,
hold him down, and I'm like, God damn, this man about to end this.
Yeah.
And he does. What's so cool about it is that he doesn't just like boom, erase. It's like hit skin,
layers,
muscle,
the bone, and then it just disintegrated.
It's crazy. It's like 3 whole panels of him disappearing. It reminded me of when Deku hits muscular, and you see the muscles like rippling, and then getting blasted off. He didn't blow him up.
Yeah.
Because Deku ain't a monster.
Ain't that crazy that Deku is way stronger than he is now, like, than at that point?
Bruh.
That's
why he made quick work of muscular.
Yeah, like, that's wild. But yeah, keep going.
And after he obviously obliterates this kaiju. He said a little nice comedy. He's like, oh man, I hope he doesn't regenerate again. And it like starts regenerating. He's like, no, not really. And then it goes back, and he's like, oh god, thank God.
And then he immediately scolds Kikoru like he turned into her dad for a second. And it was so cool to see those dad moments.
Because he's older. He's like,
yeah.
He's like, hey, like, you gotta be careful.
Yeah.
But then he went immediately like, I'm so sorry. Like, don't tell anyone. And the end, dude, he looks
gonna be funny.
He looks mad good. Like when he apologized, he's like, he's throwing it back. Like he's all like,
he's all hunched over. He's all prostrating all the way. He's like, please.
This man, and listen,
in monster form, in kaiju form.
He's in monster form, and this man is showing for the first time that in kaiju form, this man has indeed a dumper. And the man. I'm like, God damn, what you doing, man?
Squats. No.
my man is like full on arched.
Yeah, they put a lot of detail into that. They honestly did. They went there.
And he scolds her. She's like, told me about this. Like, what is happening?
Yeah.
She's mad confused. She's screaming. Yeah. She's like,
I mean, she just saw a man turn into a monster
and defeat the monster that defeated her or was
like
about to
horribly.
Kill her. Yeah. And what's so nice about that is that he goes to hug her, but it's not just to hug her. it's to protect her from another monster that was behind her, and he just blasted that other kaiju immediately. She's like, "Oh, he's protecting me.
He's the real." Yeah, because she was nervous, and the way they drew the panels and the way they separated it, it did look like he was doing something towards her quickly. That's all you could really see.
It looked like he was like instincts.
Yeah,
and I mean, she's like on edge.
I think that was more from her perspective, the way they drew it. Even though it was the full, like you were looking from the side, but the way they portrayed it and they showed it, it looked as if, hey, this is her thoughts right now.
He's coming for her.
Yeah.
He's not going for her. Like it's showing you from her, like one panel to the other. He's like going for, and she's like recoiling. Obliterates this other kaiju. This nice little moment of him being relieved and undoing the transformation, and only his face is a human and the rest is a kaiju, and he's smiling, that goofy smile, nice, wholesome Kafka Hibino,
like he's not just smile. A huge monster.
Yeah, he's like, hey, I'm your teammate. Like, hey, literally.
Yeah.
Obviously, all that craziness ends, and then comes the captain and the vice captain to clean up and make sure everything's going okay.
Because they activated and went into full alert mode before Kafka even went there. Before Kafka went, because the only reason Kafka went was because they were doing like a roll call, a head count type thing, and he overheard somebody say, I don't know if it was Ichikawa or just in general, somebody was like, Kikoru is making sure everybody can get out. She's out there alone. And then that's when he disappeared, and then all this other stuff happened. But also throughout that time, freaking Hoshina and Ashiro, they acknowledged that they're the only ones who could get out there and do anything about this. So
which is insane.
Yeah, because this is supposed to be a training session.
And they're establishing already these are the dangers. Immediately they went to 9.8, saying this is the strongest. Of course, we're gonna see stronger.
Yeah,
because
first 10 chapters.
Yeah, and there's like 40 something out already, or 50 something. There has to be something strong. I mean, I assume the commander has to be. After all that, everyone disperses, goes to their own quarters. Some go to medical, like Kafka and Ichikawa. Kafka is like super relieved. He's not even thinking about himself. He's super relieved. He's on his hospital bed, and the captain walks in. And classic, this is like, in Japanese culture, it's huge when a superior shows any kind of gratitude towards a
subordinate,
a subordinate, a pupil. And she didn't go full on All Might, on all. Like bend all the way touching the floor, but she did give a salute, and they both were like, "Oh, this." And he was about to say Mina, but he was like, "Nah, I ain't ready." Nah.
Yeah, because he was gonna chase after her. Because after she left, he was gonna run after her. And before that moment, she was sitting on the outside of the room, listening to him talk. Waiting. And they were going back and forth about how he's happy that Ichikawa gave him the inspiration to get out there and get back at it and actually try and follow his dreams again. And that he's excited. Yeah, the youth.
How my guy would say the flame of youth, or the fire of youth.
The fire of youth.
Oh, that's
full on my guy.
Roughly was that to my guy.
Oh man,
that's what Reno is to Kafka.
Yep.
After she listens, she goes in, does the salute. He acknowledges, I still have ways to go. So I'm not gonna chase after her. She's my superior, so let everything go as normal. He thanks Reno. Reno is like, yeah, of course. Like, what do you mean? It's obvious. But he's very grateful for it. After that, they get the results of the test. And what happens, Baron?
The unthinkable, the protagonist fails.
What?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. Woo. No, he legit fails. So and this is the next chapter, if I'm not mistaken. It starts off with they're at a promotion ceremony, and you see everyone there but Kafka, and they kind of make it seem like he's just excluded. Like at first, because I want to say it's like three or four pages within that that area. They kind of show all the named characters up to this point. They show their face, and you have Ashiro up on the stage giving them a talk, saying, just going over the results and whatnot.
Yeah. Who passed, who didn't.
Yeah, and then I want to say, how does Kafka get drawn in? Oh, he's sitting there complaining, talking to Ichikawa, like, why did you tell me to do this? Like, he literally flipped the whole script, because just the chapter before, he was talking about how happy he was and grateful, and now he was mad at Ichikawa for even pushing him to do any of this. Push forward, we find out that he failed to be an officer, but Vice Captain Hoshina stepped up and took him on into his unit to personally train him and look after him as a cadet. So he basically failed forward. So he's in the Defense Force. Hey!
and everyone lived happily ever after.
Right, and that's it, guys. Thank you so much. No,
what makes this, like, it gives you more interest in knowing, like, what happens, because it's like, oh, he made it, he's an officer, like, now he just has to climb up. No, because it's the fact that Hoshina is like, there was a malfunction. There was a power suit that wasn't there during the test. At the same time, the 9.4 level thing occurred, and it just so happens that he noticed that the one that disappeared was Kafka, and he's like he has his eyes on Kafka. He's like, yeah, it's kind of sus.
And the way they draw him, because the last panel, and then there's a point I want to get back to, but the last panel for this chapter is you see Hoshina staring down at Kafka as he's doing push-ups, and I'll explain why he's doing push-ups in a second. But his eyes, because normally you see Hoshina, his eyes are like drawn closed.
Like
he's squinting.
There's usually like characters. Yeah. There's usually characters in anime that they have eyes closed. And
they're just like, it makes them look cool. That whole like, I'm paying attention but I'm not.
Yeah, it's like I'm super cool, laid back.
Yeah.
But and these characters always, if they open their eyes,
yeah, it's
about to go down.
And that's what you see here. You see him like flare his eyes open, but it's not in shock. He's like menacingly staring at Kafka. Like,
everything here darkens. Like when they darken everything here, he's like, what? It's like,
it goes like, super evil, like. But the reason he's staring at him on the ground doing push-ups is Kafka has a super cringe moment, and it's funny to like see cringy moments, to read them. It's like to be able to make somebody cringe in a story, like as a reader, for me, like, I cringe. I was like, I died of like secondhand embarrassment.
Watching The Office.
Yeah. So Kafka walks into the promotion ceremony, of course,
because they try to tease you, like, didn't pass, but it's like, oh no, I'm late.
Yes, and that's exactly what it was. And so Ashiro's given a speech, and she finishes her speech, and he basically says her name out loud, her first name,
which
is on so many levels is a bad thing.
She's a superior. He's a cadet.
They're not dating. They're like, there's just so much there. And he's like, Mina, I'll stand beside you. And then everybody looks at him like, what?
Is he crazy?
it parts like the Red Sea. Like everybody stands to the side, looks at him.
There's a moment of panel where he's just quiet, where everyone's quiet, and then
oh yeah, yeah, it was bad. And his punishment for speaking out of line, interrupting, and calling out his superior officer by first name was to do 100 push-ups. But then we see another lighthearted, real life human moment from Mina or Ashiro, and she kind of smirks, and then Hoshina catches it. Like, she's smirking? She's smiling. And so now moving forward, that's how
for sure.
Push-ups. Yeah,
that's my favorite scene of that chapter, because it keeps showing why them together has to be insane. Like once he reaches a point where he can fight alongside her, that's gonna be incredible.
Oh yeah,
because they're best friends. They're still best friends at heart. You can see it. Yep. But it's like it's a power dynamic. Now it's like I have to keep my promise.
See, I wonder, like, I kind of want to do a forethought because I have not read to a point to where any of this happens of them like working together or anything. Yeah. I wonder if it's gonna be one of those like super sad moments. Like this is forethought, speculation territory, folks. So we should do a segment speculation.
Speculation,
right? Like it just pops across the screen. Speculation. I think as soon as he gets to the point of being able to stand next to her, she's gonna die. Like
as anime does.
I really believe it's gonna be one of those like final moments thing, or it'll do like a Darling in the Franxx and they'll both go off into space.
Or they do another thing where it's like you're here, but it's not all about fighting. There's a ton of paperwork. You're not gonna be in the same team as her. You're not gonna fight alongside. You're gonna be.
Ooh, she's gonna get injured and become like a seated captain.
I mean, there's a million ways that they could do it. He could
speculation.
Again, I don't. If they're at this point, I mean that there's so much, because I don't know how long this manga is gonna go for. It feels like it can go for a couple dozen chapters, volumes rather.
Yeah. I was gonna say I could see this going to about 200-300, like easy.
Yeah, it can get there. It's just how deep does the kaiju lore go? Because we've established that there's different types of kaiju. There's an extreme form of kaiju, which is the Dai Kaiju. I wonder if we're gonna get eventually introduced to another foe.
I'm gonna tell you what lets me know this is gonna be super deep. We haven't even seen Mina's backstory, Ashiro's backstory. We don't even know the name of the kaiju that gave Kafka his powers.
We don't even know.
We don't even know where it came from. We don't know why it found him. There is so much that we don't know within 10 chapters, and it's crazy because folks, like, I'm not digging deep and trying to read between the lines. I'm talking in general, just story building. There's a lot that's happened that has no explanation.
Like, we're early on, but they're already planting a lot of seeds.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I think we're looking forward to a lot of stuff, and I got a feeling they're gonna take their time with it, and I hope so, because it's a good read. It's very good writing.
Pacing is great. I like the
the pacing is solid. Characters are funny. They bounce well off of each other.
Likeable characters.
Yeah. And even the bad guys have some flair to them. Like, they're not just like destroy, like the other kaiju that we came across, which we don't know its name.
Which he looks gnarly. Like this man has like plates. It looks like
it's a weird design.
It's a very weird design.
You know what he looks like? For those who've played Kenshi, he looks like one of the insect people from Kenshi, or he looks like the more common and more recent. When you go into the poison area in Elden Ring, the ones who cast the poison spells, he actually looks like the mushroom poison people.
Okay.
Like that's kind of what he looks like.
Like the vibe, yeah.
Yeah. Now, if I'm not mistaken, are we missing a chapter? Because is there one more?
We're not missing the chapter, though. The
frame.
The
Yeah.
cadet ending, that chapter, which to clarify, Kafka didn't arrive late. He just wasn't permitted to be in the ceremony because he is a cadet. He's not an officer.
Yes.
That out of the way, Hoshina's like, oh, I'm suspicious. But then after that, we go back to the cleaners. And we
Those
go to
guys.
a bathroom. We go to a restroom, to a toilet seat. And in that toilet seat, L style with legs,
like full on hiding in the stall. Yeah.
Is the kaiju that attacked Kikoru. The flying saucer looking
mushroom
mother
head
trucker
looking.
And he's listening to a radio or a phone, and he's just listening to the different news and the attack, and there was no casualties, and he's like, impossible.
No casualties. Again,
this is the only kaiju that can talk so far. This is in Kafka because he's
the second one. Because the kaiju that went into
he was like, I found you.
Yep, he was talking. Yep.
This is the only Dai kaiju aside from Kafka that doesn't have, that we know of, another human form. What he does do is adopt a human form.
Yeah.
To blend in.
And it's crazy because they don't show his face. And he looks like Resident Evil 4 Parasite people.
Oh.
That's what he looks like with the neck. Like the neck. He definitely, you don't see his face, but they just show him in the back. But what's crazy is he legit is working with Kafka's old crew. Like his old team, like the people, some of the first people you see in the manga are now back, and the main bad kaiju is working with the cleaners.
He's blending in. They don't know he's a kaiju.
Yeah, nobody knows.
He's just like, sorry, I was in the, he was in the restroom, and they were like, newbie, you gotta be, you gotta tell us when you're heading to John. And he's like, he's like, oh no, sorry. And as they're walking, they're in front of him. His neck just goes crazy, like it starts blistering, and he's like, "Oh, I gotta be careful with this body."
Full on Resident Evil,
like it's some Resident Evil stuff.
Yeah, all the way.
What his human form reminded me of another human, I forgot the name, but in Parasite, there's a human that looks like that, like from the back, and it just so happens that in Parasite.
See, I gotta watch Parasite,
bro.
I know it's on Netflix. Last time I checked, it's a classic.
It's for me, it's like one of the best
body horror.
Oh, it's so good. Junji Ito. Oh man, read that if you have it.
Oh yeah. Oh, I know. Spiral and it just,
Uzumaki.
Itchy.
But this guys, man is also nasty.
Yeah.
And that's where it ends off in chapter 10. He's walking with the cleaners, and God knows what's gonna happen next.
And that's the final panel. So guys, so before we wrap this up, I didn't think we'd go this long. This is dope. I like to do. We're gonna do this thing where we pick like the panel that really stood out to us. And there was no colored panels. No throughout these 5 chapters. Usually we come across a pretty crazy colored panel, colored in panel.
What there was is, if I assume you read the Shonen Jump app, there's an 8.1, which is just wallpapers.
Yeah, and they're dope.
Pages. Oh,
they're dope. And you can find them on Twitter, because the author even said that. Like, these are from Twitter. Enjoy. But the panel that stood out to me, there's 2 of them, was when Kikoru first killed, and it's a small one, when Kikoru first killed the big Honju, and she thought she finished the test, and she's like looking up, and like it's a smaller panel, but it's a wide shot, and you just see her staring up, and I love wide shots. I'm a sucker for wide shots. But then also when you see the muscles tearing off of the Honju's fist when it comes back after Kafka punch, they meet fist to fist. I think that was, for me, was the 2 dopest panels.
Just the 3 sequenced skin, muscle, bone. For me, it had, because I really liked how it made me feel. I felt good. I felt like in a warm embrace. And it's when Kafka is in his human face and kaiju body cradling Kikoru. He's like, you know, like, I got you. Like, he's there for her. And I was like, man, she's like surprised. He's a nice guy. He's also a kaiju. There's so much going on here.
Yeah.
Like, this is frowned upon. Like, no
Yeah.
kaiju should
Be hugging me. Like,
and it's the strongest version of a kaiju with the strongest examinee or examined, whatever, the cadets,
fortitude. Yeah.
out of the officers. So it's like it's a nice parallel of them like acknowledging each other. Like, oh,
going along that line, there was another one that really stood out. Was when she's in her head and she's out loud saying like, "Did I do bad? Did I mess up?" And then you just see Kafka's face, and he's like, "You did great." Like,
yeah,
and she's about to die. Yeah, like, you did great. And it's just the timing of it. That was a good, definitely a Luffy moment.
Yeah.
Like you
thank
know,
you. Like,
yeah,
you did great. Don't worry, I got it. Continues to annihilate the enemy.
Yeah, like the world's all about to get destroyed, and then he's like, "I got this."
And I gotta say, like, for me, it just works better with Luffy than with Goku. I respect Goku for what he is as an icon and everything, but Luffy just has this different vibe to him where he is Goku. He is like that. The personality is there, but it's just I feel like there's more story, there's more traits, there's more variety, more nuanced. But y'all aren't ready for that conversation.
Yeah, because I'm gonna piss everybody off. Dragon Ball is the best version of Goku. Like,
and it may be like, and here's the thing of Goku,
because it's a story. Yeah,
because I think like of Gohan, it's Z, Dragon Ball Z,
of course,
and like
because it's a story. Like he has the build up. You go from the kid turning into the great ape to, training in the time. Okay, we're not here to do that, guys.
Not Dragon Ball. Not today.
I don't know. We'll get there. You got any final thoughts about these last 5 chapters?
They're not wasting time. So I'm just excited to keep on reading.
They're not. That is one thing for folks who are watching this. Clearly, we spoiled the whole entire 5 chapters. But if you're thinking about getting into this, they do not waste time. They respect your time, but it's in a way to where nothing felt rushed. Nothing. Like, I don't feel rushed reading this.
I feel good. I feel like I'm catching everything.
Yeah, like,
and I'm like, okay, I can pause here a moment, and I'm not in a rush.
Yeah, like, and it doesn't feel like filler either. Even when they did the backstory, the sad flute flashback, it's you're gonna hear me say that a lot because it's funny how that song fits into so many moments.
Everything. Life. You're just looking out the window and it just plays.
But folks, look, this has been chapter 2 of the Page Turners podcast here at Level 1 Gaming. We're gonna be pushing to have this every week.
Yeah.
We're gonna work this out. It's gonna be an every week thing. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe button and all that other YouTube-y stuff. Share this out, clip it, funny, great moments. Let us know in the comments below if you're reading along with us. And give us some other recommendations of some stuff you hope we discuss in the future.
Jeez.
And, I'm just really grateful. Walt, where can they find you? Or you got anything you want to send off in final statements?
Let's see, brother.
Yeah, brother.
I got the Dual Shotgun Sense podcast. We didn't do an episode last week because two of us were busy. So now it's not a 1-man podcast; it's a 3-man podcast.
Yeah.
And if 2 can, then
it's a stand-up show.
Stand up, yeah. Just hey, what's the deal with gaming? Tune in this Saturday. We're gonna be covering the latest. Talk about Gamescom. Talk about Saints Row. Talk about all this stuff. If you want to be caught up on the latest in Gamescom and whatnot, go to level1.com.
LV1gaming.com. And then also, we have a lot of other shows, and I feel like I just completely cut them off. But we have a lot of other shows you can check out. We have Double XP on Wednesdays at 4 p.m. PST, and then we have what other shows do we got? We got Star
15
Cross,
minutes with fame.
15 minutes with fame, and that's on
Gamers.
Mondays. Starcross Gamers on Sunday. Bonus level on Thursdays as well. And then we have I can't believe Cogs in the Machine on Tuesdays. We got a lot of stuff for you guys, and then you can get all your news. There's content. It's stuff here. So like, subscribe, and talk to us below. We talk back. And yeah, you can find me everything Baron J67 at Baron J67.
And you can find me everywhere at Walt Lando, mainly Twitter.
Yeah, that's where I mainly am too.
As you'll find me liking the latest in buffoonery and memes and anime and corgis.
And spoilers. But yeah, much love, guys. Spoilers are out there, and I'm usually contributing. Peace.